This computer. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Art of Learning Self-Love. I'm Darla Williams. I am your host. I have absolutely created this space to help people to grow and develop and help them to understand how love begins within. So, what I wanted to do tonight is sort of open up with everyone on the call tonight. Each individual here has worked with me in some level of going through the Art of Learning Self-Love. Some are in the middle, some have already finished, and some are just beginning. So I want to take and recognize you guys because you are the one that really does the work. I might have created the material that we use, but you guys are the one that's doing the work. So for others out there who are listening in that are getting these opportunities to hear these videos, how are they going to know whether or not this is helping if I'm the only one speaking? So I want to give you guys a moment just to share what the Art of Learning Self-Love has done for you. And I'm going to start with Crystal.
Wow. Okay. So it honestly has done so much. It has taught me one that I don't have to hold on to my past is a big one. That I am a conqueror of my story and the things that I've learned, just the amount of love for myself that has grown tremendously since the beginning of working with you to now. It is a huge difference. I'm starting to see the shifts that just from loving yourself, the shifts that have been made on a like universal level has been crazy. Today, like for example, today I was like, oh man, I went and got a gift card so I could buy some stuff, like turned in my points at work. And I'm like, okay, I'm limited to $25, you know, and I was like, all right, watching like what I was putting in the cart and everything. And then here I am going cash out. And somehow I have $6 in rewards points, and I was like, oh
Awesome.
my gosh, because I've been really working on like shifting my perspective after our last session of really that I am fully abundant and I attract the things that I need and the universe will provide. And that right there was a prime example of not only do I have more money now because I didn't spend that full $25, um, but the universe provided, and I was able to get the essentials that I needed to get by for the following week. Um, so just understanding that truly we, by loving ourselves and by showing compassion for ourselves, that the universe does provide to us, and trusting the universe, trusting everything that we've gone through, and appreciating the lessons that come from that. Um, Today, I was listening to podcast, and um, one of the things that I took from it, which I want to apply here, is the challenges that we experience are growth. That is our growth. And that goes hand in hand to what you're teaching. Really is that our challenges, overcoming those challenges, trusting them, appreciating them, so we can grow instead of holding on to them in a negative way.
That is absolutely amazing. But here's the point of why I'm doing this right now. If you notice that Crystal stated several times that she heard things and she learned things, but she's applying them. The key is her doing the work. It's actually allowing herself to shift. It has nothing to do with all the words that I've given. It has to do with the work she has chosen and what she has come into alignment with our belief system. And that's what's shifting her. I just happened to have the words that helped me to do it. And I went, oh, let me write this down and let me share this with another. Those who keep picking it up are literally watching that transformation. The reason I chose you, Crystal, to start was because you're in the middle of it. You're in your process. Now, Kat, I want to go to next because Kat has completed hers.
That's funny. I thought Crystal was in the middle of it, and then I was like, "Who's?" I finished. Maybe Joe's finished. I was like, me. Okay, so my whole entire life, I have just felt lost. Um, and I have traveled like all over the world. Like I was in Germany. I've lived in different states, and I was always looking for something outside of myself. Um, I never felt loved. I never felt wanted. I never felt like I was enough. I never felt like um, I just I always felt like everybody was against me. The world was against me. Everything was against me, and I felt like I was just pouring my love into the world, and like I wasn't able to ever receive that back. And so when I like came into your course, I was there was a moment right before that where I was kind of looking around at my life, because for the longest time I thought that the reason I wasn't happy was because I didn't have a child of my own and a family. And I was like, oh, I'm 30 something years old, and everybody has a home and a family and this and that, and I still don't have any of that stuff. And I was trying so hard to find it and to find love and to find happiness. And then I finally, had a baby, and I had my guy and my life, everything I wanted, I finally had. And then I just came face to face with that feeling again. Just that, and it was the first time that I kind of really looked at in the mirror and thought, I've been outside for so long that I didn't have any choice anymore. Like I came to an end of a road. I was like at a wall, and it was like I was on the hamster wheel. Or if you want to be precise, I was the walking definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. And so I don't know. I mean, it was just all divine intervention that you came into my life. And um 90 days later it's just a completely different person. Like, but not I was me. Like I found me. I found my voice. I found my worth. I found um my divinity. Like, and I'm still on this journey of waking up to myself and learning how to fully embrace who I am and the divinity of me, and what I'm here to do, because I believe we're all here to shine, and I believe we're all here to make manifest the glory of God that is inside of us, as Marianne Williamson put it. And we're not always able to see that about ourselves. And I think it's odd, now that I'm saying this out loud, because it's like for the first time in my life, like I want everybody to have that. Like I'm like everybody I meet on the street, I'm just like, you need some love? Come talk to my friend Dar. She teach you how to love yourself. And I'm just honored. Like I can't thank you enough for the things that you've done for me, and I can't recommend you enough to anyone that I meet. I actually recommended you to a stranger today. I put a dresser up for sale on Marketplace, and she was like, "Would you be willing to donate this dresser?" And I was like, "Yes, but you need to join Stars of Unity and meet Darla." And only because I went on her page, and I was like, and even if you don't, you can still have the dresser. But I had gone on her page to see if she was a scammer, and like all of her posts were, like her in her own waking stage, and I just automatically picked up on that and was just like, recognize like the path crossing. And I'm like, I just always am like, stare everyone into your direction because
Thank you.
you're a miracle worker.
I'm a miracle worker. Yeah, something had to be a miracle to work on me. So, divine intervention stepped into my life and began that. And that's how this began, was I was in this broken state and I had to come through. And for that to happen, the art of learning self-love was developed. And it started with me. I did this for an entire year on my own, every 3 months, doing it again and again and again. And I offered it out and I shared it with people and I got different people's opinions on it and I let them all work through it to see how it would affect them. And I got all of those details and I actually sat with it for it took a long time to get 25 people to try it when it was first developed, because people were like, I don't know, you made this, Darla. I know what your past looks like. And I was like, no, I'm serious. This really works. And I stuck with it, even when other people told me, oh, I needed to figure out a different niche. This wasn't going to be profitable. I mean, there was just so many things that people had told me that would have, had I not had a passion for it, I would have given up. But this
Yeah.
became my passion. So I want to ask Terry, you have just a little bit of experience with it, and you've gotten to see a little bit about how the different assignments are set up, as well as the affirmations. So I know that you're beginning, so I don't expect you to have like this full story yet. I just want you to just share a little bit of what you think of what you're doing so far, so that people can see it from the beginning stages.
Girl, I hate being put on the spot. But I don't know. And it's hard for me to even answer. I've been through hell and back. Around the corner, up and down the hill, through it all. But I'm still here and I'm here for a reason.
You are.
And I just feel like for some reason recently, I mean, well, not so much recently, but within the past 6 months, you and Joe, I don't know, you guys make me feel better about myself, feel better about my situation. And I'm sure that this isn't what you're asking me or anything along those lines, but it's it's what you're gonna get from me, I guess.
No, that's perfect.
I mean,
That's
you guys,
perfect.
things that you say, cards that you pull, um, they all seem to hit me in the feel goods. um, and I feel like if that is what makes me happy or makes me feel good, then that's the path I need to take.
That is
And you
honestly
guys
the
have
actual
shown me.
universe's plan for us. We have to get into the feel good. If we don't feel good, then we're not in alignment. So you are
Yeah,
on a good path. You're already beginning to understand.
it's been a long path, that's for sure. And I can't keep taking that path. I can't, for my own sanity, my own health, and not even just for me, but for my kids. I have to finally put my foot down and say enough is enough, and I deserve to be happy.
You do.
That's just
We
how
we
I'm
all
at
do.
now.
And that's why I teach this, is because we all do deserve. We all are worthy. We all are amazing. God didn't have time to make a nobody. He only had time to make a somebody, and each and every
Somebody, you said
single one
that
of
the
us
other
is
day on your other video, and I heard it. You didn't have time for nobodies. You needed to make a somebody.
That's it. That is exactly what it is that, there wasn't time for nobody. There was only time for somebody, and that is who we are. And Terry, I am so grateful that in that space of your life where things got desperate, that there was a Joe and there is a Darla for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Joe for forever, it seems like, but I didn't know this side of Joe. As many years as I've known him, I didn't know this side of him until, I don't know, the last 3 years, maybe.
In all
But
honesty,
more
Terry,
so this past 12 to 18 months. And I couldn't be more grateful.
I was gonna say, in all honesty, Terry, I didn't really know this side of me until a few years ago. Well, probably about 10 years ago or so now, but it's all part of the process of doing the art of learning self-love. It's finding yourself, who you are, what your passion is, and working with Darla, she'll help you walk that path to find, how to get there. And it's a beautiful journey. And I'm still in the same spot I was last time we talked about what number we're on, but Darla knows, we may not work
Busy.
the book all the time, but we do on the run. We talk about it, we work through it, situations arise, and we deal, fairly well. I mean, sometimes a little kicking and screaming, but that's because we're stuck in our
Sorry, I
ways.
know you guys can't see me. I'm trying to hear. I've got the volume turned up, but I still can't hear that great. So I'm trying to like put the speaker to my ear to hear you. But I'm here and listening. I really am.
It's
Joe,
okay.
I'm not technologically inclined. I suck at these Zoom things. It's just not my thing.
You're doing great.
Mhm. Awesome.
But yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
gonna say,
I've obviously I've tried to do this path with Darla a couple of times now, and I always get tracked back to the old path. And I'm gonna be 40 next month. God damn it, I just can't do it anymore. And I am not willing to accept that I'm gonna be 40, but I'm saying it now. I'm gonna be 40, and it's time for me to do me and be happy about doing me.
absolutely. I was gonna say I agree with everything you said, Terry. Everything. Like they make you feel so good about yourself. But you make yourself feel good about yourself too in the process, you know? Because it's
See,
all
I'm
about
still working on that part because I don't
and
feel good about myself just
you'll
yet.
get
I'm getting there,
there.
but
You'll get
it's a
there.
slow process.
It was the same for me. Like there's your whole life, right? You've either quit or give up too fast, too soon, or before your time. Think about that. When the going got tough because we suppress our emotions, they don't feel good or we push them away, right? Was
Yep,
the
100%.
that's the insanity, right? That's the same thing you've done over and over again. It takes courage to get off of that hamster wheel. It takes courage to look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself about who you are and what you are and who you are leading with every day. What are you, how are you hurting people? How are you, instead of it being about everybody outside of yourself, it's like the first time that you start being accountable to yourself and honoring yourself and honoring who you are because your whole life you've been going against you. You've been trying not to shine. You've been trying to be what everybody else wants you to be so that everybody will be okay with you or that everybody will love you or that everybody will accept you because what? There's something wrong with you? So who? Where do we have that in us that we think that there's something wrong with us? Where does it come from? It comes from us internalizing all those negative judgments other people hold of us. And then we make that our truth when it's the very furthest thing from it.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
exactly. And that's been my thing is pleasing everybody else and putting myself on the back burner. And as a mom of 5 kids, moms are always on the back burner. It's always about the kids. But I've got 3 older boys, gonna be 16, 18, and 21 this coming up year. And then I've got 2 little ones that are 6 and 7. But um having the older ones on my side and helping me through all of this and pushing me to be the mom that they know I can be and the strong, independent woman that they know I can be helps so much. And then all it does is it helps to guide and show my little ones that,
Exactly.
you can be at the bottom, but you can still rise to the top. It may take a little bit of time, but when that time comes, you're gonna push and you're gonna push, and sooner or later you're gonna break through, and your light's gonna shine. And that's my goal. I just want to show my boys who, that no matter how hard life is, or the troubles that you go through, the heartaches, the hardships, no matter what it is, you can push right through it, and eventually you're going to shine. And that's all I want.
And Terry, you deserve it. You have had, you have been
I
through
will have it.
things.
I will have it.
You're on your path. You're finally on the path. Now it's deciding every day to choose what's serving the highest good in your life. When you make that your priority, all of a sudden it shifts it from, well, do I want to do it or does somebody else want me to do it? Now we're looking at the collective. We're looking at how is it going to affect humanity? How is it going to affect our children? How is it going to affect us? That becomes the bigger picture. So there's where you can start your day each day going, how can I choose each moment to serve my highest good? Because the highest good of you affects collective. It rearranges the world around you. I want for a minute, Joe, can you pull up that thing you wrote about the apple tree
Oh
and
my
share
God.
that? This thing that Joe shared is so important to all of us who have felt
Oh my
that
God,
we
did
are
that hit
cut
me?
down, that we are beneath who we should be, when we have been left to be made out to believe that we're less than. This subject that he wrote about, like, it will transform you. Everyone go ahead and close your mic and let him have the moment.
So I could send it to the chat and everybody could read it, but if you want, I could just read it out loud as well. Okay. I heard you from the other room. So basically, it starts off. I took some pictures of my apple tree. So it starts off, here's my Honeycrisp apple tree, grown from a store-bought apple. First of all, I was surprised I had one pop when 7 were planted. I was so excited watching that little seed grow into a little tree in a little red solo cup. It grew to about 18 inches tall in that cup. So spring came, and I planted this beauty outside. Created a little planter with log pieces from the wood pile. A week later, I noticed it's missing leaves. The next day, it had no leaves. Come to find out, the following day, I had a rabbit eat my tree down to a small stump, flat to the ground. Saddened by this, I did not pull the tree. I let it keep going because I knew it had roots. A few weeks go by, and I notice 2 branches growing out of the earth from the small stump. Overjoyed with gratitude, I gave thanks that it recovered and grew back. Come fall, after watching the tree recover and start growing again, it reaching about 6 to 8 inches, the worst thing ever happens. Yep, you bet. The rabbit ate it down again. Well, still knowing it's got roots, I wrap it with that metal mesh to keep critters out. I left it all winter long, not expecting much as spring approaches. Well, I'm proud to say that twice chewed stump of a tree grew back again. It's currently about 38 to 40 inches tall. As I cleaned out the leaves that fell in the fencing and added pea gravel, I couldn't help but think all that tree, or couldn't help but think about all that tree has gone through. It's still here. It's still growing. Which got me thinking, how many times have I been cut down? I'm still here. Though, or through it all, I'm still here. What have you gone through? Just think about it. You're still here. So really take notice as you grow through these things in life. They are your roots into knowing yourself, holding you firm, allowing your growth. No matter how many times you get to cut down, just remember to learn from the experience and grow back stronger. Then probably won't work because of my background. Nope. But love it. It's great.
What I
Yeah, no.
absolutely love about what you wrote, Joe, is not only did you acknowledge, here's nature, here's something out there, it's growing in the wild, it's doing its thing, but it started with something you planted. You planted a seed, and that seed began to rise up. You put it out into the elements, and what do the elements do?
Tear it
Things
down.
things happen. We
Take
get
it
out
away
into the
from them.
world, and what happens? We think one way while we're growing up, that this is the way it's supposed to be. We get out into the world, and the world treats us completely different. And then we're like, what in the world happened? We get lost. And what I loved is that he said he came back to the roots. Here it was. Even though it happened, it grew again and then attacked again. How many times in life have we all felt completely attacked,
Oh my
completely
God,
cut down, and
that
left
was the
to be
number one
nothing?
thing. That was what hit me the most, is I've just been torn down, ground up, thrown away so many times. But I still got my roots.
You still shot up again. You have the ability to keep rising, to keep growing, to keep developing. Nothing that is set up to take us out. If we're still here after it's gone through, then that was just to be the beginning point to create a space for us to try again. We are all the example of the phoenix. Everyone in this group has been through some stuff. And, if each person sat here and told their stories, everybody'd be in tears, because we've all been through some things that have just completely set us out and made us feel completely separated. But in all actuality, what it did was it created each and every one of us to become the hero of our own story. Each one of us have had to rise up out of things that we didn't think we could get out of. So whenever you come against those moments and you feel like you're in the ash heap, remember, it's time to rise and burn and blaze as bright as you can and light up the sky with who you truly are and keep soaring into everything that you're supposed to be. So Joe, you sort of went into a little bit about sharing about your experience with the Art of Learning Self-Love, and I sort of like rearranged you a minute and had you read that. This man, he says, oh, I'm not really good at writing, but this guy can write stuff that makes everyone cry. Well, my God, it hits you in the heart because he really
Multiple times a day, he can just get to me. I'm telling you.
he literally is precise. He doesn't say
You're
a
a lucky,
thing.
lucky woman, Darla. You have no idea. Like I said, I've known Joe forever, but I didn't know honestly the real Joe until the last couple years. And he is an amazing, amazingly strong man. And you're so lucky. And you both are lucky to have each other because both of you build each other up. And that is like that right there is a true inspiration.
Took a lot of healing though, a lot of healing to get there.
Oh, and you know, Joe, I don't even know all of your story. As long as we've known each other, I don't know it all. But I know enough to know that you've been through some shit and you're still here. And you know what? Now you're stronger than you've ever been. And that right there is the true hero.
It takes work, but anybody that decides they're tired of that can do what they choose, and that's part of learning the art of learning self-love is you get to choose. I don't want this. It don't feel right. I don't fill my heart with joy or whatever, you wish to desire to sit in that type of feel all day. And I prefer that passion, that love, that light. I'm triggered by like narcissists and crap like that. I don't want to sit with narcissists all day. I have the choice. I can choose to step away and be back in an energy I desire. Now, if I'm working with a client or something, then I'm working with a client and helping someone who desires to change. So we're all making that choice. We all have that choice. We're still considered a free country, so we're still allowed to think for ourselves and do for ourselves. So you have zero excuses to not get up and go do something better. Like Terry said, she's tired of walking this same circle of madness. It fucking sucks. But she's made the choice. She's gonna rise up. She's gonna do something different in her routine to have that next better thing in life. And Terry, like we all said,
It's not gonna come
it takes
easy.
a while. It takes a while, but you where you're coming from is sort of like where I came from, just absolute hell. There was no way out. There was no positive thing. And for me personally, it took finding that minuscule positive thing, like itty bitty teeny tiny, I need a fucking microscope to find it, positivity. But I did. I found that one thing and I held on to it. And every time something negative occurred, I kept bringing that back into my thought because you got to change your mindset. You can't live in that negative space all the time. You've got to find that positive and hold on to those higher vibrations. And just know that as long as you're focusing on the bright side of life, you're going to rise up. If you keep falling back into the addictions and the bad habits and those bad routines, then you're going to keep repeating that cycle. And
And that's the hardest part is I keep going back because it's so goddamn hard.
well, it's
It's
also a
hard.
pattern. It's also a pattern. You've become so accustomed to it that it is now a pattern. You wake up and live this life because it's your daily
Yep.
routine, and it has been for 20 some, 30 some years. Like it's involuntary. You wake up and just do it. But to make that change, you have to throw a wrench in the system. You have to stop those same gears from turning and create a new and veer off and jump into a different path and say, I don't want that shit no more. I'm going this way and stick with it. It may take a couple weeks of truly sticking with it before it starts really setting in and becoming a new routine. But hold that in your heart, hold that in your mind, and you will arrive. You will achieve it. And I think Darla just posted something in the chat about love starts from within. Literally, it does. Yeah, love begins within, not from without.
See, and that's my biggest thing is trying to find love within myself
Mhm.
because I've been torn down so many times. It's hard.
This is where it's important that you daily, even hourly at this point, sometimes even per minute, depending on where you're at, literally keeping things that encourage you. Those positive words that you need to be within view at all times. Post them in the car where they're on the steering column where you have to see it. Put them on the dash.
Well, I don't have a
Put
car
them
no
in your
more.
window.
I
Put
don't
them
have a
on your
car no more.
mirror.
Yeah, no, I need my little affirmation quotes back up on my mirror every day.
Every
I
day.
don't have them, and I need it. I'm gonna have. In fact, you're gonna make me go in the room as soon as we're done. We'll go write me out some, and I'm gonna put them on the bathroom mirror again. That I last time when we did all of this, and you were sending me the daily things.
Mhm.
I had 20, 30 post-it notes up on my mirror in my bedroom every day. And I'm at that point that I've got to put my little post-it notes back up.
Exactly.
um,
Because what it does is it reaffirms it. Even though we're not saying it, just seeing the post-it, we know what it says, so it automatically reaffirms it in our mind. And the more we
yep.
keep reaffirming these things over and over again, we need repetition. You didn't learn how to write your name the first time you saw your name. You had to keep practicing writing your name so that you could learn to spell it. Each one of us had to go through that process. It's the same thing. We've spent X amount of years of our life being told we're nothing, when in all actuality, we're just out of alignment with who we're supposed to be with or who we're supposed to be around. And we're just gravitating to the same energies over and over again to be told that because that's what we know. And until we can come to that place where we can learn, then you just rebuild it and rewrite it, rewrite it the same way we would writing our name as a kid. Repetition is the key. So I do want to give Kat a minute because that poor lady has been sitting there with her hand up for a few minutes now. She's like, please, please,
I'm
please let
sorry,
me
Kat.
go. No, it's okay. Like,
I'm just like the energies, like everything's so clear right now, just listening. Like the connection, like, oh, I can feel her pain. I can feel it. And that's what I wanted to say. When you start working with Darla, like you start awakening to the divinity within you. And so I'm going to tell you, when you get to the end of this program, this is what you're going to know about yourself. You are worthy of what you say you are worthy of. You are the only person that can control you. If you're not happy with other people, it's because you allowed other people to not
Oh, yes.
way that you deserve to be treated, the way you want to be treated, the do unto others. What would you do unto you? You would love you. You would love you without condition. You would love you in all ways, always. And when you begin to love yourself that way, you can't help but know that you love everybody that way. You love everybody. Just go into your heart and your heart opens up and you know this truth. You hear it, it resonates because there's a call. There's a call to you to step up and to take ownership, to become sovereign. Every single one of us can blame everybody outside of us for our pain. But it doesn't work that way. When we start taking responsibility for our own self, it only matters how I show up to the table of people's lives. I'm the only person I can control. I can lead with love. I can become that love. I can preach that love. And as I become that love, it grows and it expands, and you pass that torch to somebody else. Know this. You already know this. It is ingrained in every cell of your being. You are loved. You are divine. And as you shine, you give other people permission to shine. You give other people permission to make manifest the glory of God that is within them. And Darla and Joe don't abandon you at the end of this. You become family. You become friends. You find that love that you've always wanted and desired to experience and feel because you are becoming that love, and the people around you are doing the same, and they're joining together, they're coming together, and we're unifying. That's what love does. It unifies. That's what Jesus spoke. That's what Jesus preached that's what Jesus did. And our only commandment was to love as Christ loved.
Here I am, send me. That was my statement just before I left the church. Here I am, send me. I'll go into all the earth. That was what I didn't, that is what I finally owned. He didn't ask for us to do anything else. He said, love one another. That was his only thing. And if I love me, then I can love you, because I know that I'm going to take the needs that I have and respect myself and do what's necessary. And it's going to make me choose to do the same thing for you. Love begins within, not from without. And everyone has got it mixed up. The world teaches us that we got to look outside of ourselves for love. And that one day that love's going to find us. But that love can't come into alignment with us, and we can't activate our own magnet for it until we begin loving ourselves first. And we got to identify what it is. How can I go into a relationship if I cannot tell my partner what I need? If I cannot stand up and say, this is what I need, and if I'm not having that met, then why am I wasting my life with someone who is never meant to be with me? That person I'm with has to be in the same element as myself, because they want to grow and they want to watch another grow. And that was the main component for me when I started looking. It was ironic. I was sitting in a class with a client going, here's how this works. These are these things that you need in a relationship. Here are mine. I'm still waiting. And she goes, isn't that guy, that lighthouse dude? And I'm in the middle of a client call. I'm like, this isn't about Darla today. This is about you. And I literally said that in a call. I was like, we're not going to talk about Darla right now. We're going to talk about you. And, I'm not going to say her name, but she literally is like, isn't that the lighthouse guy? And I was like, shh, we're not talking about it. We're just not. And I had to literally go and talk to Joe, because I realized that, yeah, everything that I had written was every characteristic that he possessed. He was every
you were looking
detail
for.
that I was looking for. So,
See,
you know,
and that's my problem, is I'm learning that certain people who I've been waiting for the change are just not willing to change, even after multiple times of saying they're going to change, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that.
the one thing I had to learn, Terry, is talk can be cheap.
I just said that today, not even 2 hours ago. I said,
People can
prove
say,
it to me. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. That was my exact statement, not even 2 hours ago.
But listen, know this, right? Just like Darla said, God didn't have time to make a nobody, right? You're somebody. So you say who you are. You say what you want and
Mhm.
what you desire. And when you honor yourself,
That's the key.
you are honoring the creation of you, the divinity of you. To doubt your divinity is no honor to you. You are divine. You are created in the image of God. You are made in his likeness. What is God's likeness? It's unconditional love. Every single one of us has that capacity. But you have to love yourself unconditionally. And what's not to love? What's not to love? You're
That's what I'm
amazing.
working on. I'm trying to love myself,
You're
because
amazing. What is our
right now I
superpower?
don't.
It's love. It's love. We love each other. And the only reason we are miserable is because we haven't been loving each other. We haven't been loving ourselves. And we feel this. We know this. Every single one of us. When we create that love within ourselves, that manifests on the outside of us. And
Mhm.
every single person that hears it, it reverberates because this is ancient. Everything in this world lives in honor of everything else. You know how we know this? Because of ecosystems. And what is an ecosystem? Everything involved working together for the greater good of everyone involved. That's what an ecosystem is. And we are on this earth, and what is not in an ecosystem? What is not in alignment with this earth? It is us. It is us. We are out of alignment because we are out of alignment with the divinity of us.
And coming into the balance, Terry, that's what you and I need to do is we need to schedule some time to work on balancing your board of directors. Basically, that means is literally getting you back into alignment within yourself so that you're calibrated between your divine inner child, the divine feminine, and the divine masculine, and bringing that in for you so that you can come back to yourself. Because right now everything's scattered and it's just where you're at. It's okay. You're okay, but you're on your right path. But I think that that would be very beneficial for you is to schedule that in with me. And we'll talk about all the details later. But just so you know, that will really help you to start getting some balance within yourself.
No,
The other thing I
no,
want to do is we got just a few minutes left. If you can, type into the comments anything you'd like to take to the fountain tonight. Because we're going to go ahead and do a fountain healing. So anything you would like to shift within yourself, within your mind, within your body, knowing the truth that you're whole and complete from the foundation of creation. What is out of balance with that? What are you hearing inside your mind that's screaming so loud that you need to let go of? And Joe, you're absolutely right. It's hard to love yourself when you don't know what love is from the start. Broken before we began. Pat says, I love you, Terry. No strings attached. You're beautiful and meant to shine. So shine.
I seen it. I was trying to write it. I love you too, Cat. I'm sorry.
You're all here to be a support system. That's what these groups are for. This is the place where we can all fall apart in a safe place where others in the world can know that there are those that are really there to help them, to show them. Tonight, Kat, Joe, Crystal, thank you. All of you have imparted parts of who you are into another being who is lost in a moment. Thank you for sharing your story. And one, allowing me to see the transformations as well. I truly, my whole heart is in this for every single one of y'all that come into my classes. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, literally invest myself into each and every one of you. And to
And that's
watch
what I
you
love about
grow.
you, Darla, because you devote your entire life to helping others, and that's amazing.
Was because I wanted somebody to care enough to devote some time to me. And when I realized that that was the burden I had, I rose into it. I grew into it. And I did realize the reason I felt that that was so necessary was because that's what was my soul calling. And now I do it every day. So I
Yeah,
want to go ahead.
like lately, I don't think I'd been able to make it through the past 6 months without you and Joe. It would have been one hell of a roller coaster ride that I couldn't handle.
And we're
I know I
still,
don't get on here enough and I don't sign in enough and my schedule is so messed up. But just watching your guys' videos on YouTube after they've already been aired or whatever you want to call it, I'm telling you, they help me so much.
we're glad that we're here for you, Terry. No one needs to be alone. Ever. And there are really people in this world that want to be there. Just because we've aligned ourselves with those who don't, doesn't mean that that's the only thing we got. It's learning the steps to get to where we need to so that we can develop who we're supposed to be by learning.
Which is all I want. I just want to be the woman, the girl, the chick, the mother I know that I can be. And
And
that I
you're,
know that I am.
so I want to go ahead real quick.
And now my son's knocking on my car window as I'm chilling in my car.
I got I got a message really quick that I would like to share. So
Please.
so it started, embrace the process under your feet because it leads you to, I keep on saying, where it leads you, sorry, I broke the connection when I was trying to write it down really quick, but it's pretty much embrace the process and the path that you're walking on, because at the end of that you're going to grow and you're going to learn so much about yourself, that just seeing and recognizing and being able to honor yourself in any moment, your darkest moments to the best moments of your life, it's all part of the process of to why you're here and what you're here to experience. And shifting your perspective is very important. So, and that's something that I know Darla has helped me, because I was always in such a fight stance. And even after that chapter closed, I was still in a fight mode. Like I was like, man, my fists are still up. I'm like preparing already for battle that's non-existent. That wasn't
That's
there
how I am
anymore.
right now. My fists are always up. I'm always
That's,
ready for it.
I get it
Mhm.
now. I know exactly what we need to take into the fountain now. And I want to go ahead and jump into that because we are at the hour. If anybody needs to go, I understand. And if you do have to go, I'll send you the audio instead if you have to leave for any reason. But if you guys can stay for just a few minutes, we're just going to run through the fountain. And what I'm going to do is for everyone here, I want to take us and actually allow us to shift from the previous thoughts that we had up until this moment and open us to be ready to receive who we're truly meant to be from the foundations of creation. That is what I'm really getting from this call tonight. And that's
I
what
was
I'm called.
message too what Crystal said. Yep.
So that's what we're
I
going to do. So I just want you guys to,
I concur completely. We're all on the same page, ladies. Well, and Joe.
ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go ahead and put everyone on mute, and then I'm going to go ahead and begin doing the fountain. So I want you to go ahead and get yourself set up where you can just sit back, close your eyes, and literally tune in. I just want you to listen to my voice and hear every word and take yourself through the garden. So we're going to start right here with letting our shoulders down, putting our head back, closing our eyes, breathing in a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose and bring it as deep as you possibly can. Bring it as far as you can. You can bring it to the seat that you are sitting in. Bring it all the way down there. And then exhale. Now I want you to imagine that you're standing at the gates of the garden. And behind those gates, there is a healing waiting just for you. So you are anticipating the opportunity. Just as we did the 3 breaths, we got to wait for the gates 3 times. As they're closed right now and all lit up with a white light, you're going to open, and then they're going to close. They're all lit up. They're going to open, and they're going to close. But on the next time you feel this drawing in, you know that the inner being of you just needs to get to that fountain. So when it opens up, I want you to rush in. As it begins to open now, you see that the path is there. Go ahead and step in. To the right, you see the tall grass blades flowing back and forth, ebbing and flowing to the wind, back and forth, back and forth. As you see, as it's going back and forth, you can see the sea of color sprinkled across the top of all the wildflowers of every type that you've ever seen. And off to the left, you can see the shrubs and the trees and the brushes and the bushes and everything in between. Every flower you could ever imagine is growing everywhere, all the greenery. As you're continuing along your path, you see that it veers off and around the bend. As you're coming around that bend now, you can see to the right that there's a bench. If there's anyone there, stop and say hello. Receive your messages, whatever they may be. If you're through, and when you're through, turn to the left and you'll see this enormous, massive fountain just waiting for you as the water is cascading down from the top with the white flow of light, of healing, restoration light that can come through you and heal you. You want to go in and you can't wait. So you see the steps, step 1, step 2, and then down into the basin of this fountain. Here you are standing with this flow of water in front of you. I want you to go ahead now and begin to step forward into it. As these waters are washing down over the top of you, you can feel them swirling and twirling around your feet and around the ankles, around the calves, and into the knees. It stops. But you still feel that water flowing from the top and coming down over you. And as it hits the water, I want you to go ahead and open that crown chakra. At the top, just above your head, there's a space that is opening up and allowing for this waters to wash in. As it pours in like a mighty rushing wave of water flowing down into the mind, creating a circular motion of light, collecting all the things that are no longer serving your highest good, bringing you out of everything that you've already been through and putting you in a position to shift your perspective from repeating the patterns to being open to receive the truth of who you are. You're whole and complete from the foundations of creation. There is no time for anything else but for you to be that somebody, to accept and love and adore who you truly are. The part of you that keeps giving, the part of you that keeps going, the part of you that knows that you are worth it all. Bringing that down into the throat, through the mind, down through the throat, and in the throat. We're going to go ahead and wrap up any of those storylines that other people have spoken that we will repeat, and anything that we've spoken over ourselves that have not served our highest good when we've cut ourselves down like that apple tree, or when others have cut us down. Let's remove all of those vibrational storylines that have accumulated over the years, bringing us back to the truth that we're whole, we're complete, Now, as it leaves from the throat and goes down into the body, I want to pixelate it and let it go all the way down into the fingertips. Bring it all the way back up your arms and into your heart. When it hits the heart, I want it to press through like a mighty rushing waterfall, like Niagara Falls, just pushing through all of that water, just dumping and dumping and dumping through, breaking apart any of that part, the calluses that have been created by the experiences that we've endured, bringing us back to the truth that we can palpitate properly with our heart in perfect rhythm and who we were meant to be from the foundations of creation. Bringing that down and into the solar plex, removing any storyline and any resistance. Where we harbor all of our anxiety and our fears and our pains, and we're going to push it down through and get rid of it because it's not serving our highest good, down into the sacral, continuing to bust up all of the addictions and all the past afflictions, down, down, down into the very root of our very being, bringing us back into perfect alignment with Source. As above, so below. As it is, so be it. That we come back into the truth of being whole and complete from the foundations of creation as we were meant to be. Bringing that down through the thighs, down into the calves, into the soles of your feet, and pressing it out as far away from you as possible and taking that root and taking it down, 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 down into the ground as far away from us as possible. Knowing that we can release ourselves from all of these stories that no longer serve our highest good, and bringing just the light and the waters to bring that refreshing healing back up into our toes, into the soles of our feet, around into our ankles and into our calves, up into around to our knees and our thighs, and up through the spinal column after you've gone through the root, up into the spinal column. I want you to stop right about the heart center in the back, allowing this to blow wide open and being ready to receive all that Source has to give to you, because your backside is always covered by your angels, and they are standing by waiting to put into your heart all that you were intended to receive. Be ready and open. Bring that up and into your neck, into the brain stem, bringing it around to the frontal cortex and recalibrating us to our truth. Our truth is that we're whole and complete from the foundations of creation, and nothing can separate us because Spirit dwells within us. The very breath we breathe is the very existence of God within. Nothing can remove that truth. You are whole. You are complete. And Christ has set you free. You're free indeed. Allowing that out, back out through the crown, back up into the heavenlies. And think that you have been healed. Be thankful. Be ready, taking a deep cleansing breath in, bringing as deep and dark as all the way down into your toes if you can. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Go ahead and open your eyes. Does anybody want to comment tonight, or do you want to just go and rest easy in those energies?
I opened my eyes to an almost full moon right in front of me, and I feel awesome.
Perry, when you get a chance tomorrow, just give me a call.
My phone is shut off when I only have the Wi-Fi calling app, but I can do it through Messenger.
Go
So
ahead.
I will I'll I get off. I should be off work, I don't know, 3 o'clock ish. So
Okay.
I don't know, four if 4 o'clock works for you, I'll call you around then.
Okay, I'll text you after to double check after I can check my schedule, but I believe that'll be fine. Anybody else?
I was gonna say anytime usually after 4 is fine.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording.